Good morning, my friends. Welcome to the weekend. I hope your weekend has got off to a fabulous start. So, Saturday today, at least in my corner of the world, and that means Margarete Miller Day. So, let's jump right in. It is week 14, and the first prompt is something you see through a window. So, I'm going to start with that, and we'll get to the other prompts as we go through this. So I have here this magazine page of an outside area outside a house. So view through a window is your garden and your footpath. It's a decking footpath. So first off, I need to trim this down to size because it's slightly too big for my page. So let's just quickly do that. Yeah, so I have managed to put a story into this one as well. So all will be revealed as we go along. I hope you enjoy my stories. I really love coming up with a story to combine all the elements, because to me then it has a purpose other than just random items, which, don't get me wrong, that's fun as well. But with these ones I love the challenge, and I love coming up with something weird or crazy or in some way logical. It's not always super logical, but you know, I do my best. From the feedback I've been getting, I think most of you are enjoying the story aspect that I put into them. So thank you for giving me that feedback. It's really encouraging for me and makes me want to try even harder to put a story into each one of them that I do. So if you don't like the stories, then I don't know, just watch with no sound. I don't know, that's all I can suggest. Or of course not watch. Okay, so that's going to go down there. But one of the prompts is a map, and I've got a section here of a bus timetable route from my nearest city, which is Christchurch. So I'm going to include that, but I want to make it part of the path. So I'm going to trim out a section of the path. Oh, come on, get on the line. And we're going to slip it in behind. I'm just going to do it up to where the deck widens out a bit. Now I do want to keep that overhanging foliage because I think that's a beautiful way to integrate pieces when the top layer comes into the layer underneath. I won't do all of them because that's going to be fiddly, but I want to do enough of them that it helps bring the two elements together. So bear with me as I do this little bit of fussy cutting. It's also going to be a nightmare to glue too many of them, of these little leaves. Looks like something like agapantha plants. Want enough to bring the detail across, but not so many that I'm creating a nightmare or making it too boring to watch me cut these out. It's quite a big size bit of paper that I'm working with, which is making it a little awkward, but I don't want to tear this off because I can use that to make faux washi. Cool wood grain pattern, or I can use it as is, like trim down where I've chopped into it, and use that. Actually, I might just cut around here to make it a little bit easier. Or use that in, you know, if I need a prompt with something with wood or whatever. Just got a little bit of fern at the top here that I need to somehow, gosh, making a meal of this would be so much easier if I just cut it off, wouldn't it? But I don't want to, so I'm not going to. Just a tiny little bit, probably won't even be that obvious, but my collage, and I'm going to do it. And I just ended up snipping it off by accident. So what a waste of time that was. Oh well, get that in the big jobs. That's okay. You win some, you lose some. And I lost that bit. That bit, not that bet. No betting here. So yes, that was a failed attempt to keep that bit of fern. Too busy talking and not enough concentrating. That was my problem. I think my nails are starting to slowly grow back. Just little bit by little bit. They're normally quite fast growing, but I think they just would grow a bit and then break again. So it's taking longer to get back to having my nice nails again. And I can't wait, because it's very frustrating not being able to pick things up off my desk very easily. So I'm not doing a great job of cutting out here, but it's going to be sufficient. I think it will, the wood probably will blend in, what little fragments I leave will blend in with the map. So not too worried. So are you trying to guess what story is going to happen today? Sometimes it's a stretch, I will tell you that. It can be a real stretch piecing together a story. This one actually I found relatively easily though. I kind of had a concept and then just looked for images. And I found this image before I even had the concept, and then I thought, okay, I've got this image, I can see a concept, now I need to find the supporting elements. So that's kind of how I brought this one together. Scrap there. Okay. A little tear on the top of my page there. That's okay. Okay, so we're going to put this map underneath. Like so. Oh, I do like that. I do like that very much. Right, so I'm just going to hold that there because it's in the right place. I could tear it down, make it smaller because it's bigger than what I need, but I'm not going to bother. I have plenty of these timetable maps that a friend gathered up for me when she was doing a little tiki tour around the city, and she grabbed ones for the ones that she needed for the time that she was in there, and then when she finished with them she gave them to me. So I don't need to be precious with them, and I'm not going to take time. It will be fine. It'll just add a little bit more bulk to my book, and I don't see a problem with that either. I can always remove pages out of this notebook. Right, that should be sufficient. Oops, little bubble in there. Smooth it out, it'd be good. Okay, so that's the first layer. This is going directly over top. There's nothing else going underneath, so we're going to go ahead and glue this down. I have actually got the fire going at the moment. It was quite cold this morning because it rained overnight. And I thought, oh, and it's not supposed to get very warm today. But actually, it's turned out beautiful and sunny outside. And I'm hoping that I can let the fire go out. I've just shut it down with some small bits and pieces on it, like some pine cones and some shrapnel from the bottom of the woodshed. You know, all the stuff that accumulates over the years, bits of bark and little wood chips and stuff like that, and hopefully I can just let it go out after that and not get cold. Otherwise I will have to relight the fire, which is fine if I do, but I'm hoping not to. Just trying to preserve what small amount we've got that's burnable. Okay, so there we have that. So view outside is the garden and the path, a map, something that uses electricity. So I have this huge wall light here, wall sconce light. It's absolutely massive, and I was like, oh, that's a bit ridiculous, but I think it's just fun. And I thought that's going to be the outside light on the side of the house. Yeah, I know it's huge, but we need our path well lit, and for that we need a humongous light. So I don't want the whole thing, I just want the top bit to be chopped off. So I'm going to glue it and stick it on and then trim off what I don't need. So that's going to be our thing that uses electricity. I thought, why not inject a little bit of whimsy by having an absolutely huge light hanging on the outside of the house. I thought that was fun. And it will cover over the people that are in the background here too. So that's another benefit to using something so big. And placing the sconcy bit right on the side of the house there. So that's where the electricity is coming in from. I put it lower than I was intending actually, but that's okay. There's no real kind of super important place to put it. I'm just gonna, oh, I've got a wee corner popping up here. Let's just glue that down. Sometimes the shiny paper pops up again if you haven't pressed it down properly. So just flipping back to this previous page, and we're going to trim off that wee loopy bit like so. Okay, so we've got 3 prompts down so far. 3 down, 3 to go. Okay, something with wheels. So I have this little dump truck here out of a children's book. I think it's super cute. It's actually a sticker. So I'm just going to pop the lid on my glue because I won't need that. And I'm going to kind of hang it over the edge of the map like it's fallen off the path. And so I don't know if they're everywhere in the world, but they're certainly here in New Zealand, where you have those children's road map mats. You know, it's a mat that just little floor mat that has a map layout on it, and they get out their toy cars and they play on this mat and drive them around the mat. So this is that, but it's an outside version that the parents have installed this path that's a map for their little boy to play on. So that's how that fits into this. It's a path, but it's also the child's play area, and that's why we need it well lit, so the child can go out and play in the, you know, as the days are growing shorter, but it's not yet bedtime, so you can still go out in summer or in autumn or something and play with the help of that light to light up the mat. Now there was the white surround like there is on this sticker out of the same book, but I fussy cut it off, which means it's a little bit harder to get off the backing, especially with not much fingernail to my name. But there we go, I managed to get in under. Very sticky stickers these, so I'm not going to add any glue, and if one day they come off I can just glue them back on. Okay, so the truck, you know, he was called into dinner and he just ran. Oops, there's a bit of that plant that's coming up because it's a very fine point. Let's get that. So he ran off and the truck fell off the path into the garden. And so the parent came along, and, you know, maybe it was the dad on the way to dinner as well. He'd been out in the shed, and this came along and found that the truck was off in the garden. Where's my scissors gone? There they've gone. I also want to cut out the white off of this one. So he grabs the little road cone that's part of his son's playset and sets it up like there's a hazard here. The truck's gone off the road. So I'm going to put the little cone to signify that there's a hazard on the path, on the road. There's a truck gone off into the garden. It's had itself a wee crash. Won't take long to cut this out. And we're done. Now I've just got to peel it off. So this comes out of a really cool construction kids sticker book that I picked up for, I don't know, it was 50 cents or $1 or something from a second-hand shop. And a lot of the stickers were still intact, hadn't been used. So I thought, yep. But a lot of the pictures I'm actually using in it as well, because there's cool pictures of like concrete mixers and buckets and spades and all sorts of fun things in it. So for the price, it's just really good resource. Okay, so we're going to pop that there, slightly over the truck because it's, you know, it's right in the way, saying there's a hazard. And the prompt for this is something with a bit of orange. So that meets that prompt because it's an orange traffic cone. Now the final prompt, the bonus prompt, is a name. So I've got here a label from, oh, now which one is it? It's Labels from Days Gone By. I can't remember whether it's the original set or volume 2, but it's from one of them. And it's got Miss Murray, and she's a florist. And it's in Wellington. Interestingly enough, I don't know if it's Wellington, New Zealand, but we have a Wellington, so I'm going to assume that it's in Wellington. And I should have stuck this under there actually. Can I lift it up a little bit? No, it's well and truly stuck down, so I might as well re-glue that corner that I lifted. It's not going anywhere. That's all right, we'll just have to, maybe I'll tear it. So this property here with the garden belongs to a florist, and she cuts bits and pieces out of her garden to use in her floristry business. And her name is Miss Murray. So that's the name. And that's how it fits into the story. And this growing city spaces, I'm going to leave that text on the page and just cover up the subtext, because I think growing city spaces fits with this label, and Wellington is a city. It's our capital city here in New Zealand. So that's how those two tie in. So I thought that worked really well. And I did hunt for a label that had a name on it specifically, and was really super happy to find it also had the name of a New Zealand city on it. I mean, it couldn't have been any more perfect, really. I probably didn't need to tear out that little chunk, but that's okay. It just adds a bit of interest. Maybe the boy's been hacking at the sign, the garden sign. Or maybe it's fallen victim to a traffic accident at some point in the past as well, with a improperly aimed toy. Maybe he was having a tantrum at the time. Who knows? Now, the one thing I haven't thought about is where to put these. And I haven't left any tuck spots anywhere. Okay, let's chop it down and see what we're left with to work with and how we might want to include it. I've been forgetting lately. It's, yeah, a bit annoying, but oh well. We'll deal with it. We'll come up with something. Make it as small as I can. Good stamping bits there. Okay. So we could plonk it up here. Could plonk it down here. I think up in this top corner is the best. I feel like it interferes minimally with what's going on, but I am going to tear off this blank space to reveal more of the foliage in behind. So we're into the random tears today, apparently. Random little bits showing. And I might take off that little bit at the top too, just because I'm now getting into the realm of ridiculousness. Okay, let's put it down before I can be any more ridiculous. And please, in the next one, please, as I'm putting together the layout, remind me to think about where I'm going to put the prompts. Please, please, please. I'll be forever grateful. Right, there we go. They're on there. So just to review, we have something you see through a window, the garden, something with wheels, a dump truck, a map, something that uses electricity with our giant outdoor lamp there, something with a bit of orange, our wee traffic cone, and bonus a name on our label there. So that is my spread. I'll bring it down a bit just in case you can't see the whole thing, because it's, yeah, you can't quite see the whole thing in camera, but that's okay. You get the gist. That's our spread for week 14 of Margarete Miller. The story of his little boy called into dinner, dump truck fell off the road map, and his dad came along on his way also into dinner and put the wee traffic cone up to warn and just to have a bit of a play with his son. And then this is the sign for the lady's garden. She's a florist and she uses things out of her own garden to supplement her floristry business. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed my wee story. Hope you enjoyed the collage. Have a fabulous weekend, friends. Make the most of it. And I will catch you again on Monday with a new Deal It Up challenge. See you then.